Thank you, Dr. Bandile. In today's hyper-connected society, the synergy between telecommunications and data centers is not just a technical marvel, but a fundamental pillar of our digital economy. Together, they form the nerve center of the digital ecosystem, enabling everything from remote work and online education to e-commerce and smart cities. As we navigate through an era defined by rapid digital transformation, understanding the interplay between telecoms and data centers is crucial for anyone looking to stay ahead in the tech-driven landscape. So as I was preparing, I looked at a few numbers, and I'm a marketer, so every time I see numbers, I'm reminded of a very difficult number that the president once tried to say. So please, be nice to me. I'm just a marketer, okay? So ICASA reported in its 2024 State of the ICT Sector report that from 2022, the telecoms sector's total revenue slightly increased by 0.07% to 208 billion. With South Africa said to be at the forefront of data center development in Africa, a market valuation report by Moda Intelligence indicated that South Africa's data center market size is currently valued at 8.6 billion and is estimated to reach 20 billion by 2029. So today we're privileged to have a group of experts who will deep dive into how the convergence of these two sectors is driving innovations in various industries. The session will highlight real-world examples of how businesses and governments are leveraging this digital duo to enhance operational efficiency, improve customer experiences, and create new revenue streams. So whether you're here to gain insights, to ask questions, or simply to soak in the knowledge, this session promises to provide informative and thought-provoking. So let's get started by introducing our panel. First up, we have the newly appointed CEO of Intellinexus, Zimkhita Buwa, who for 20 years, and there is a magic number or magic word that I will be saying throughout the day. And if you can get it right, advise that there is it wine or champagne or something that is in a goodie box that's got your name on it. I'll ask you at the end of the day. So she has been a trailblazer in the innovation and digital space. Until recently, Zimkitha was a CEO of a local tech business focused on automation in a digital-first business world. Her commitment to fostering a culture of innovation and collaboration has set her apart as a visionary leader in the industry, whilst her passion for harnessing the power of data to drive informed decision-making, and achieve measurable results has earned her a reputation as a trailblazer in the field of technology. Secondly, we have Porchia, who's not only my colleague at Nokia, but she is a Telecoms Business Development Executive with over 25 years of experience in the people business. It's not HR, ne? Okay. It's sales. And lastly, we have Mr. Thulani Ncube, who is the head of energy and service delivery at Africa Datacentres. With a proven track record in energy management and renewable energy, he has successfully led organizations to achieve ISO 5001 energy management certification. He has worked on projects across Africa, collaborating with energy utilities in Kenya, in Rwanda, Nigeria, and Ghana, and has previously held strategic positions at Standard Bank and Mintech, where he drove energy efficiency initiatives at both organizations. So welcome, Mr. Ncube, the thorn amongst the roses. So we are running a little bit behind time, so I'm going to ask my esteemed panel to please, let's do like 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes maximum per answer. And I will give more time to the audience because we did say that this is an engagement platform. So less of my questions and more of yours so that you can get the most out of this panel. Starting off, I will start with the gentleman on my right. Can you briefly introduce yourself and explain how your work intersects with telecoms and data centers?
Thank you. I do not feel intimidated at all. Yeah, now I know how you guys feel. I know how you ladies feel whenever you're in a meeting and you're the only lady amongst men. I get it. I get it. Finally, after years, I get it. So yeah, I'm Thulani Ncube, Head of Energy and Service Delivery for Africa Datacentres. Africa Datacentres is a Pan-African company. We run data centers in South Africa, Kenya, and Nigeria, and also expanding into different other African countries. My role at Africa Datacentres not only in energy but in service delivery. So I'm responsible for onboarding customers, different customers that we host at the data center, and also paving the way on renewable energy and energy efficiency, which is a key topic in terms of data centers and the telecoms industry. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I think everybody has knows me from the introduction. I'm Porchia Muller. Today I'm here in my own capacity. I don't represent my employer. I have 27 years of sales experience, 17 of which is in the ICT industry. So yes, I go back to the corporate LCR space when we did voice LCR and when data was a dream, actually. We then converged voice and data together years later. And I remember my first customer, I think they are no more in existence, but Group 5 Construction bought a 4 megabit one-to-one international link with me. It was the first link that our company sold, and I think probably the first in the region. The customer paid 145,000 Rand a month for that link. So things have changed, and we've heard speakers talk about change, and in this world of digitization, where keeping a job for longer than what was the number 8 to 10 years is being frowned upon. From my school, it was frowned upon when you actually move too quick, right? So how times have really changed. I'm very pleased to be here today. I'm pleased to share experiences and also lessons learned with you. So thank you for joining.
Good morning, everyone. As Ntabi mentioned, I am Zimkhita Buwa. I'm the CEO of Intellinexus, a data advisory firm with a presence in Johannesburg and Cape Town as well as Ireland. And so when someone asks me about my background, I laugh about that because my journey actually started with Wabo at University Technologie Petronas in Malaysia. And I think that's where my love and enthusiasm for data started, because my thesis at the time was around data warehousing. And at the time, I think I was one of 2 girls in the class. So fast forward to 2013, when I had the opportunity to spend 6 weeks in Silicon Valley, being mentored by amazing women from the likes of Google, LinkedIn, AT&T, Autodesk. These women took basically 6 weeks of their lives, time out of their lives, to foster us, to engage with us, to explore and expand our minds. So even during that time, I spent 6 weeks at Autodesk engaging with senior executives around their ambitions for data, around how they're evangelizing the rest of the organization to drive data-driven strategies. And so as Intellinexus, how do we intertwine and connect with this digital duo? In reality, everything that we do as a business that's related to data is empowered by these 2 areas. So whether it's the cloud data warehouse technologies that we're deploying, they sit on top of the hyperscalers, AWS, Azure, and GCP. And then also from a business, the telco and the data center vertical is a key focus for us. We want these incredible use cases, whether we trying to identify or predict customer churn, whether we're trying to help Thulani improve service delivery by him understanding his data. So we here, and I'm here trying to evangelize and really shed light into how the digital duo is empowering digital transformation.
And just staying with you there, Zimkitha, on this digital duo, how is it driving digital transformation in industries?
I think, Tabi, in answering that question, we first have to unpack why do organizations embark on digital transformation. It's not a nice to have anymore. It's an absolute business imperative. And if there's anybody sitting in this room that hasn't embarked on it, you're in trouble. So I think also from a board perspective, there's a lot of investment being driven into these projects. And the whole purpose and objective is to drive value. So value for your shareholders, value for your clients, value for your employees. And you can't talk about digital transformation and trying to improve customer satisfaction without ensuring that your customers have access to your banking platforms, for example, in the financial sector. Or you can't talk about wanting to implement, smart manufacturing. I mean, a client of ours is going on that journey. And really, they needed to understand the high level of connectivity that's required. Where is all this data that's being churned out by the manufacturing execution system? Where is it being stored? Their internal data center, on-prem data center, is no longer an option for them. So hence they're engaging with the likes of ADC to drive that as a service discussion. I mean, I can go on from a retail perspective as well in terms of just practically during lunch, I can order my groceries for my kids in Cape Town just sitting from this room. A couple of years ago, that wasn't possible. And let's not forget that most of the time we actually talk about the application, we talk about the end result, we talk about the sexy stuff, but what is the backbone? What is that foundation that's enabling that? It's this digital duo.
And I think, Porchia, you said that since you have joined the industry, I think the sales experience has changed a lot. How do you see yourself in this current environment with?
Thanks, Ntabi. Yes, the sales experience has changed a lot. I think, not just, as a business developer, you've got to change with the times. You've got to keep up with technology. You've got to do the courses. You have to know what you're talking about. But I think more importantly, for me, I am people focused. I think, people buy from people, and people buy from people they trust. For me, sales remains sales, whether you're a CEO or whether you literally, driving sales KPIs as an individual contributor. I think for me, I've always had a passion to understand the landscape of the customer. And so I immerse myself into what that customer actually wants and needs and requires. And I make sure that, that landscape is well understood. And when the customer needs shifts, you got to shift with those customer requirements. When the trends and the technology actually drive those needs, you've got to make sure that you understand what those drivers are, so that when you're talking to a CIO or a CEO, you talk their language. You talk return on investment. You talk security. You talk resource management, operationalization. And so for me, apart from that is, one quick trick for me is really to follow the money. If we want to make business we want to be sustainable, we have to know how people purchase and also how that money moves through the company. Because it's one thing to sell and sign a contract, and it's another thing to get your purchase order through the system, right? And I have learned that I don't get paid unless the money is in the bank. And I think that speaks to a lot of us. When companies drive their company KPIs, we got to make sure that we get paid as well at the end of the day. we're here today to also talk about supply development and to make sure that we actually understand what that triple P encompasses. So again, digitalization today in my world means government-driven broadband initiatives, for example. So you see how government is really driving that initiative, and really, since COVID, there's no more critical time for us to actually drive the digitization into the townships where people need it most. And those vulnerable people were left on the wayside during COVID. People that couldn't get access to internet to be able to be schooled. So again, we got to know as people, what are the big drivers and projects that are top of mind in the industry today? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Porchia. And Mr. Ncube, I think another important conversation that we have with customers is around ESG and sustainability. And I'd just like to find out from you as African data centers and data center sector specifically, what conversations are you having around energy saving, power consumption, power savings? What kind of conversations do you have in the boardroom?
Thanks for that. I think the energy discussion is an easy discussion to have now, unlike last year when everybody was worried about energy. However, it is something that is key and that is critical in data centers. If you look at Ireland, for instance, there is a lot of drive in data centers in Ireland. However, data centers are consuming a lot of energy in Ireland, and there are now policies in Ireland where they're restricting the construction of data centers. It hasn't come to South Africa yet. It hasn't come to our shores. However, with the coming in of AI, we are seeing a lot of power being used in data centers. Where we used to see maybe 2 kilowatt racks, we are now seeing 120 kilowatt racks. And this is a trend that is coming, and we cannot stop it because all of us here are also in AI. We want AI to come because that's part of our businesses. But then there is a lot of energy that is required. So most data centers, a lot of data centers, we're now moving into renewable energy or alternative energy sources. And that is something that is coming through in this discussion. So I can see today we're talking about telecoms and data center, but in the next 5 years, it will be telecoms, data centers, and power, because there is a lot of power consumption that is happening in the data center and the telecoms industry. So as we are moving forward, we are seeing a lot of renewable energy coming into the data center industry and also in the telecoms industry. We have had announcement from Vodacom, and recently MTN Nigeria also signed an agreement to power up their POPs with gas in Nigeria. So it's an interesting conversation. It's a conversation that needs to be had, and there's opportunities also for investment in renewable energy or alternative energy to power up your data centers, your telecoms infrastructure. Then with that also, I think government is playing a big role, especially in South Africa, where they're opening up the renewable energy sector. There is a lot of funding that is available for renewable energy and alternative energy. We have seen a lot of funders coming into the country. There isn't a lot of uptakers because a lot of people haven't come into those discussions, especially in the telecoms industry. But in the data center industry, because of the shortage of power, we're seeing a lot of that coming in. Thanks.
And how can businesses prepare themselves to be able to take up those opportunities?
Yeah, great question. So as I was saying that, because there is a lot of funding that is out there, there is a lot of funding, but obviously with funding, you need to do your due diligence. As businesses, if you are going to go into that sector, it's all about partnership between your private sector and your government, because if you have noticed with the new regulations that have come through with the energy and also the regulations amongst data centers there is a requirement for data centers to provide power to the data centers from their own sources. So just by that statement in the policy, it opens up for a new industry, which is powering up the telecoms and the data center industry.
I see you nodding there, Zimkitha. And I know we had discussed this earlier about how companies can prepare themselves for these changes as well, from your perspective.
I think I have to echo what was said earlier, and I think Wabo even mentioned it about partnerships and collaboration. There isn't one company that can stand here and say they can do it all. So we have to absolutely work together, and government alike. I mean, it blew my mind the other day when I was reading that City of Tshwane had to basically shut down for a couple of days because they were doing a network change. With all the IP that is sitting in this room, there has to be some way of business being able to continue operating, or even the National Student Financial Aid Scheme. In this day and age, saying that they have issues with their IT systems, there is so much IP experience and knowledge that we can tap into. And then also, the startup ecosystem. So I sit on a board of Silicon Cape, and the amount of innovation that is currently taking place, not only in Cape Town, but in Johannesburg and the rest of Africa, we should be able to tap into that. How do we remove the red tape so that we can collaborate effectively so that the economy can grow?
Thank you very much, Sim. And Porchia, just to you before I give to the audience, a big thing that we speak about is monetization, whether as businesses for us to monetize, but even organizations, small enterprises that are in the sector, to be able to make money out of their innovations. What would you advise them from a sales and a sales experience that you have?
Don't stop talking about what you do. I think if you are your brand, if you carry your brand identity and you carry it with a passion, I think that speaks for itself, right? So for me, other than, the other fluffy stuff and business stuff, I think first and foremost, be your brand and carry that brand wherever you go. Never stop talking and looking for opportunities. My mind thinks in pictures. So when I meet anybody, when I'm in my hunting mode, I never stop thinking about how to penetrate a customer that I have on my radar, or how to get something through if I'm in that mode, right? I think first and foremost, be sure to keep your customer, front and center of what you do. Be customer centric, and I think always be authentic about what you do as well, because that shines through in I think in every situation. I think the last thing I want to leave with you is we've all spoken about alliances, and we are here today to do an exchange. I think in our write-up we wrote that we want this to be a business exchange. When I spoke to a particular marketing person, he said, "Oh, so you actually really want to develop a physical LinkedIn?" And for us, I mean, this platform is really what it's about. It's an incubation for us to make sure that we're actually driving the economy forward, one opportunity at a time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And that is actually quite important. I think we get tired of these platforms, but networking is so important. I was listening to another, he used to be an actor, and he was saying that he took it for granted that when he left his role at Backstage, there would be others, and they didn't come. And it's years and years later because he says he failed to network. And I think the importance of networking cannot be taken for granted. I think when I left, or I remember rather, not I think, when I left government, when I left the ministry, I thought I would be down and out, and it was when COVID was starting. But the networks that we had made in the industry since I started back then, way back then, are the very networks that brought the opportunities, at Nokia as well. So these platforms are really, really important, and we will be going into another session on branding, on networking, and being authentic, like you're saying, later this afternoon. So I'm looking forward to that session. I will not be a panelist. I won't be a moderator. I'll be speaking on personal branding. So with that said, I'll just hand over to our audience if you have any questions for our panelists.
That's nice.
Sorry, I think if there isn't a question at the moment, I'd like to just expand on what you're saying. So I've been a women in tech evangelist for years now. And eventually I stopped attending a lot of the women in tech events. And the reason was that it would be August. We would all meet in a room. We would all get a spa voucher for a treatment. We would all be excited, shake hands, give each other hugs, and it would end there. And this is the first event that I have done actually for years. And the reason for that is I believe at the core that for us to change our country, for us to move our country forward, women have to support each other. And women must not be shy about making a sale, about supporting each other, about sponsoring each other, about backing each other. So I'm hoping that you're not going to walk out of here without having connected with someone and then the action that follows after. Because we can't be sitting here next year and we're still having the same conversations about collaboration. No, next year we should be showing examples of how each person in this room has benefited from this event. Sorry, I just had to get that off my chest.
The critical thing is that we say that we should not walk out here and do this. So let it be the last time.
Please.
If they're tired,
Please.
they're tired.
Yeah.
So before I let you go,
Yeah, it's me again, Tabi. Yeah, hi everyone again. So as a tech lawyer, I think it would be impossible for me to come out of this room without having asked the question around dispute resolution. I mean, Thulani, you talked about how you are, as a company expanding cross-jurisdictionally and selling also cross-jurisdictionally. Those things they have a lot of red tape in terms of legislation. How do we make it easier to get to a point where we are not finding ourselves as businesses sitting in courts for years and years and years when we're supposed to be moving business forward? How do we get to a point where we are literally having tech attorneys, as an example, mediating quickly, efficiently, let's get it over the line. We don't have jurisdictional red tape at that point in time. It's just compliance and we move forward. Anyone can take it.
I'll take it first. Maybe the guys will jump in. Yeah, so having data centers dotted across Africa and also growing those data centers across Africa, the one thing that you realize fast is Africa is 54 countries. I hope I got that right. 54 is 54 different countries with 54 different laws. So having one size fits all in Africa doesn't really work, and it's something that we also want. Exactly like how you put it, it's something that we would like. But when we have gone out there, we have noticed that there are different laws. Different countries have different laws, and I'll give an example. If you go to Egypt, Egypt has very stringent laws around telecoms. I think people who have dealt in Egypt. And if you come here to South Africa, as much as you think that there is red tape, there isn't as much red tape as you find maybe in another country. So yes, we would like that. However, in terms of arbitration, most countries do accept and allow arbitration to happen in South African courts. Some countries up north, the French countries, obviously want it in European courts. But what we have found is they are very welcoming to sign a contract that is arbitration based in a South African court.
thank you very much. We just want to take one last.
Hello, my name is Oviogazi. I am an IT auditor. I'm an aspiring IT auditor. I have two questions. One for Thulani, how do you monitor customer usage? And then for Zimkitha, I would like to know, do you consult with data centers in terms of how they need to be future ready?
So it's funny that you asked, because we're about to embark on what I'm hoping will be a proper use case around helping a data center provider to understand, firstly, their customer data, to understand their sales data and be able to predict their forecasts, and then also to understand how they can be more efficient with the assets that they have. So I can't say as an example that we've done it. We're about to embark on that journey, but watch the space. Yeah.
All right. Just a quick data center 101, co-location. So co-location data centers, we provide the infrastructure, we provide power, we provide cooling, and we provide security. Then we go out there and sell this. So we sell it to different industries, from your big cloud service providers to your small businesses who come in to buy just a rack. So we do not, it's something that obviously we are going to venture into as AI and customers use more power. So how we monitor our customers is through your energy usage, because data centers is mainly measured in kilowatts. So we monitor their energy usage. We don't monitor what is coming into the servers and out of the servers, because we are co-location data center. So we bill our customers on energy and space.
And lastly, for our channel, if you are to come out of what headline, what would 15 seconds? What would be your key takeaway?
If we want SABC to cover you.
Impact. The impact of the digital duo would be my headline.
Collaboration, strategic partnerships.
Opportunities. There's a lot of opportunities for us to just jump in and make business.
And with that, we are done with this panel. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.